We wanted the entrance of the Chipettes to really be memorable.
We made it! Jet records.
It's a difficult problem. Can we make the Chipettes fit into a movie?
The Hollywood sign.
I wanted to push the envelope even further. I wanted to just push it until it broke.
Alvin and the Chipmunks, the Squeakquel, is not only filled with double the squeak of the first film, because we have the Chipettes as well as the Chipmunks, but in addition to that, it really is a story for everyone who's had a sibling that they have fought with.
Need I remind you it's your day to do the laundry?
The first one had been about a family coming together, and I wanted this one to be about the brothers falling apart in the atmosphere of school when that can happen.
I'm Theodore!
The Chipmunks have even more to deal with in the Chipettes under the tutelage of the nefarious Ian Hawke.
Well, we all knew with the first movie that if it was successful and there was another, it would include the Chipettes. It's intuitive.
It's funny because when Janice and I were first bringing the Chipmunks back in the late 70s, we loved so much of the girl group music. But there were only so many times we could put the Chipmunks in drag. Okay, another wig on Simon, a lovely skirt on Theodore.
But then it occurred to me, what if we have girl chipmunks? I would get to play with pink and lavender and give them a whole new life that was girl relatable.
One of the most interesting scenes in the movie is the arrival of the Chipettes. We see what looks like a very normal FedEx package.
Girls, we gotta get out of here.
But soon it's sprouting legs, a head is popping out, it bangs into the wall.
Sorry.
They have come to meet with Ian Hawke, the man behind the Chipmunks' huge success.
What do you want?
We want to introduce ourselves. I'm Brittany, and this is my sister Eleanor, and I'm their sister Jeanette.
They have come to see if he will make them, in Brittany's words, superstars.
We want to be stars too.
Brittany is clearly the most ambitious. Eleanor is incredibly athletic, and Jeanette is really kind of a dreamer. With the Chipettes, Janice wanted to walk the line between here are the characters that you might have grown up with in the 80s and 90s, but live not only in the live-action world, but look like they belong with the Chipmunks without being cookie cutters with just wigs on.
It's a difficult problem. Can we make the Chipettes fit into a movie?
Because if you don't believe the Chipettes are in this world,
The Hollywood sign.
it pulls the audience right out of the movie. The movie just doesn't work. The consequences are grave.
Guess who just became the #1 Chipette fan in the whole dang world?
You know, a scene like this that hopefully looks really easy and charming and entertaining is really the product of an enormous amount of work by an enormous amount of talented people. Obviously, first comes the design of the characters.
In this scene,
Mr. Hawk!
I wanted to establish them like we had established the Chipmunks, where they're just in their fur. They haven't been humanized yet. They have done a little something in their hair, but they don't have the money or the knowledge yet of how to fashion a look for themselves.
Janice and Ross both said we want the girls to look like a different species than the boys, and softer and fluffier. They're chipmunks from, say, another part of the earth.
We were always putting the girls next to the Chipmunks and saying, I want the Chipettes to look even more girlish and cute. I really wanted to push that envelope.
It was difficult enough on the first film to come up with the boys, but now that we have to with the female, it just added up another challenge to us. Exaggerated is a good word because we want to enhance the cuteness, and oftentimes bigger eyes, bigger cheeks, smaller nose and smaller mouth. The elements that we feel, they're cute. Like when you look at the baby, they have bigger eyes, but their mouth and nose is tiny.
I stand by that there is a species somewhere of chipmunk girls that look just like that.
So after you work on what they're going to look like,
Hello? Mr. Hawk!
the casting of the voices become really important.
I wanted to get actresses that were not only funny, but we're also very emotional.
So when can we meet the Chipmunks?
Amy, actually, she brought a giggle to Eleanor
And hang out with the Chipmunks!
that the director, Betty Thomas, and I wanted to incorporate as an Eleanor characteristic for forever, because there's a giggle that she has that is so winning. Anna Faris is so sweet, so Jeanette-like.
And I'm Jeanette.
And brought that shyness to the part just very naturally.
You think Jeanette is the studious librarian, but then there's little moments where she's like, woo, we're in LA. And you're like, whoa, Jeanette, I didn't know she was so excited. The acting of Jeanette was just fantastic.
And Christina Applegate really brought a realness to the character and yet a haughtiness and a sassiness that Brittany requires.
Well, now I've lost my appetite.
When she first came in, she didn't realize what the process was.
The Chipmunks, they actually record in a normal voice, slow,
We made it, girls.
and then speed it up.
We made it, girls! We made it! Jet Records.
Once she got that, she was fantastic.
The next piece is now shooting the live action.
There are a whole lot of challenges in making it look like the characters that we're putting into the scene were there when the scene was being filmed live on the set.
We have these little stuffed animals that are representations of the final Chipmunk. So either myself or some other people will actually act out the Chipmunks action with David Cross, so he knows that they're gonna start over here, they're gonna move over here, and then maybe they'll step forward for a line.
That's always a challenge because when you're on the set filming, you don't know exactly where that character is going to end up, how high they're going to be.
When we take the Chipmunks away, really it's just up to his imagination, where he pretends to be talking to three little Chipettes who really aren't there.
So that's always challenging to make it look real and believable.
We would just be so honored to have you represent us.
After the scene is cut together, the director and I will talk about the performances of the characters, then I'll go talk with the animators at Rhythm and Hues.
To bring the characters to life, the background plates, and the voices, the CG FedEx envelope, the CG characters themselves, all of the pieces are passed off to animation, and then we combine them to make the finished scene.
We made it! Oh! Girls, we gotta get out of here. Who's pushing me? We made it! Jet Records. Woo!
What I always want to walk away from with these films is the feeling that people like these characters.
I'm Brittany, and this is my sister Eleanor. Hello, sir. And I'm their sister Jeanette, although I feel more like an Olivia.
That was so important to us, and I think we got it.
You made Alvin and the Chipmunk stars. We want to be stars too. Yeah, and hang out with the Chipmunks.
Well, I think it's a crack up. Just the idea that the Chipettes wanted to come to America and become famous, so they decided to mail themselves in an envelope to Ian. That's just kind of sets the whole tone of the movie.
All right, impress me.
Viewing the scene now, I'd be somewhat remiss if I didn't say that I might be a little bit biased, but it's fantastic. I love everything about it.
Guess who just became the #1 Chipette fan in the whole dang world?
Nice! Oh, wait. So when can we meet the Chipmunks?